Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back starting an all new series here on F1 2021. Yes, I might have already announced this one in a video we did a couple of weeks back, but today we are keeping up traditions and diving into our all new F2 2021 career mode. Unfortunately, on F1 2021, obviously we don't have like the championship mode that we used to have on F1 2020, so I happen to do this entire series through the F1, sort of the Grand Prix mode here on F1 2021. But of course, we're going to be running the entirety of the F2 2021 calendar. Bahrain, Monaco, Azerbaijan, of course, a couple of street circuits nice and early in the season there. Of course, the iconic Silverstone and Monza. Then we head to Sochi, Saudi Arabia, and then, of course, Abu Dhabi to finish off the year just like we did in real life just one weekend ago here. But, of course, who else could we drive for this series other than our new favourite Oscar Piastri? Of course, gutted he's not getting a drive for 2022 in Formula 1. Maybe if we do well enough in this series, we'll be able to get him a seat and maybe do a season with Alpine in the near future as well. But yeah, really excited to be jumping into this series. If you guys are hyped as well, make sure you leave a like and get yourselves subscribed. I'll be honest, at the time of recording this, not quite 100% sure how the format is going to work, you know, in terms of videos. We're going to be rocking the proper F2 2021 sort of championship format as well. 2 sprint races and a feature race. I like to do a one-shot qualifying though for these series. I just think they're quite fun to do on the game as well there. In terms though of the session lengths, we're going to be running 50% feature races and 50% sprint races as well. You know, not too long that I'm going to be spending 4 hours a night sweating out the F2 cars, but certainly, yeah, still good fun as well there. And of course, yeah, 45-minute practice session that we won't really utilise in this series. But yeah, first weekend of the year though takes us to Bahrain. Of course, as always on this channel, no assists whatsoever or anything like that. And yeah, let's dive in then to our all-new F2 2021 career mode, driving as Oscar Piastri. Right, well, here we are then at gridside, ready for the first race of the year here from Bahrain. And of course, we dive in first of all with qualifying. Now, the F2 cars I generally still like to use preset for. I don't sort of dive too much into the nitty-gritty of the setups here. But Sakir, an interesting little track in the Formula 2 car, of course. A lot of high downforce sections around the circuit. The only thing I really do change on the setup is the brake bias, which I definitely need to remember to do. But of course, we've had a little bit of experience with the F2 cars on F1 2021, of course, racing in LCR on the second channel. Obviously, I've been posting clips here as well. So if you guys want to go check out that series, I would highly recommend doing so here. But Oscar Piastri then, as we get ready to start our one-shot qualifying here for the first race of the year, and I've immediately got no force feedback on my wheel. Right, let's try that again then, here in Sakir for the first race of the season, or the first qualifying session, I should say. Of course, no braking line, anything like that, so we've got to make sure we brake just that little bit earlier in towards the corners here as we head down in towards turn 1. Of course, as always, running Ultimate AI here on F1 2021 and taking way too much curb as we head through the first corner there, immediately dropping rather far back behind the top guys here. I know there still needs to be a little bit of tweaking with the AI, as in Alessio Deleda might actually be a championship challenge here, which is something no human has probably ever said in Formula 1 before. But fingers crossed we can just try and get a good opening qualifying lap of the year here. Of course, yeah, the F2 new format really does favour, obviously, really strong qualifying means obviously you start right up at the front for both the first sprint race and the first feature race as well, of course. We'll run into the full sort of format of that for those of you guys that haven't been keeping up with F2 in 2021. I'll be honest, I'm not a particularly big fan of the new format. I'm happy it's gone back to the old way in 2022, and I really did and ah about sort of sticking to the old format, but I thought, you know, Oscar Piastri really did capitalise it really well this year there, as we really don't capitalise on the rear tyres there as we head up the hill. So I thought, you know, it'd be fun anyway, see if there's a little bit sort of different from the F2 series we've done in the past. Of course, the previous 2 seasons we've done have both been with Prema as well. They've been, of course, driving as Mick Schumacher, but now he's in F1. Nothing we can do with that. In towards the final corner, though, of the lap. It looks like it's going to be Enzo Fittipaldi who's going to take pole position for the first race of the year, but it's only P13 for ourselves, and we're going to have a lot to do in the first sprint race.
Qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top three are
Fiscal, Lawson and Richard Verschoor.
It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the feature race gets itself underway.
Well, there we go then. Enzo Fittipaldi, the Brazilian, living up to the Fittipaldi name in the first qualifying session of the year. They're ahead of Liam Lawson, and immediately those 4 bonus points put him into the championship lead there. Lawson looking rather fast, though, in his high-tech, ahead of Verschoor, Beckman, and Zindelli there, with Alessio De Leda in at P6. Yuri Vips ahead of Bent Viscal and Teo Porcher, with our teammate Robert Schwartzman just sneaking inside the top 10 ahead of Guan Yu Zhou. We're down in P13, Dan Ticktum down in 15th place there. That's a rather big surprise. And then Jan Daruvula down in 20th ahead of Jack Aitken here. But yeah, let's dive in then. First sprint race of the year here in Bahrain.
Welcome to Sakir and the Bahrain International Circuit, where the grid is forming up ready for today's race. Bahrain represents an exceptional 3.36 miles of racing. Lots of opportunities to overtake throughout its 15 corners. Now, this track has a reputation for being brutal on the rear tyres, so keep an eye on how these young drivers manage their rubber. Strategy here could ultimately determine the winner of this race. Davide, you're a 3-time winner around here in 1 week, I believe, back in 2012. How on earth do you make the tyres last around this racetrack? They degrade so quickly.
To be honest, the key to the race is having a good start so you can get your car into a good position. Then save the tires as much as you can and push just at the end.
Well, there we go then. Not much of an intro before the first race of the year here, but we are trackside, ready for the sprint race in Bahrain. Of course, no pit stops in the sprint. 12 laps ahead of us, though, of Grand Prix racing here today. And really, the main aim, of course, is to try and get ourselves inside that top 10, ready for sprint race 2 as well. But yeah, everyone obviously on the hard tyres. I don't think there's much more to say. I think we just need to dive into it then. Got to keep it clean and tidy off the start. Never really 100% sure how to launch these cars, though. But 5 red lights here in Bahrain. And it is going to be a very long hole, but it's finally lights out, and away we go. And immediately getting a much better start than Marcus Armstrong alongside us there, as everyone fans out down towards turn 1. Let's just wait and see what we can do. And I actually forgot, of course, a little bit of contact there with Liam Lawson. I got my sprint race grids the wrong way around. Of course, it's actually the reverse top 10 from qualifying there on the grid for sprint race 1, as we just get caught out behind Armstrong and Liam Lawson as we head up the hill there. Two of our fellow New Zealand drivers, of course, Oscar Piastri being Australian, but Marcus Armstrong there just sat in front of us as we head down the hill. Is Armstrong? No, is Armstrong Australian or is he New Zealand? I think, yeah, no, he is New Zealand, isn't he? As well there, but as we head down in towards through sector 2, just, whoa! Oh no, we've been turned by Dan Ticktum of all people. Right at the start of this race there, I saw the proximity arrow, and that has been a disastrous start to this F2 race there. So now we're really going to have to try and get our head down and focus in these early stages of the year there. But a disaster to kick off the campaign. I saw is it Carlin? Yeah, no, Carlin, isn't it? Of Dan Ticktum just sort of poking the nose at the inside there, but I thought he'd back out in towards the corner. But of course, yeah, Formula 2 drivers not known to back out as often as Formula 1 drivers, it must be said, you know, always trying to go for any sort of gap they can possibly create for themselves. Here, speaking about going for a gap round the outside of Ralph Boschung as we head up the hill. Not quite going to be able to make the move there. But clearly that spin was. We light at the rears in towards the penultimate corner of the lap there, side by side with Ralph Boschung as we head down in towards the final corner. And it's Robert Schwartzman who leads the way from pole in the first sprint of the season. We get up the inside, though, of Boschung, so we're almost last and first for the Prema boys at the end of lap 1 there, but a big gap for about 13th place up to 12th there. As you can see, everyone fanning out as we head back down towards turn 1 there. We've got Drogovic trying to look at the inside of a couple of cars there. Roy Nissany in towards turn 1. Can we get the run up the hill though on Jay and Arugula? Doesn't look like we can. It's been a dramatic opening lap here in Sakhir, but we have held on. Immediately now applying the pressure to Jay and Arugula as we head in through the S's, or just leaning on those curves a little bit too much there, but the Carlin really struggling. And we're going to try and capitalise. We got tagged by one on lap 1, and we're going to send it on the other on lap 2 here. Back up into 20th place in this race, but of course only 12 laps. Team, yeah, happy with the move though. Yeah, only 12 laps, so we're going to have to make progress quick in this race. What's the fastest lap times being set at the end of lap 2 there? Alessio Deleda, fastest man at the end of that lap, but are we going to be able to get a run on Christian Lundgaard as we head back down towards turn 1 here, right in the wheel tracks of the driver just in front, ART. I'm not mistaken, in towards the first corner. Oh, he's actually going to try and move around in the braking zone a bit there, but we're very firm with the send, and we are going to make the move work. Squeeze him out on the exit. And now back up into P19 of this race there. Yeah, really not the start to the campaign that we needed, but fingers crossed we can close up now to Roy Nissany. We're still pretty strong through the middle sector. Definitely running a little bit more downforce than most of the rest of the field, which is good. Means we can stick right to the back end of other cars a bit more. Yeah, Roy Nissany up next is again just running a little bit over the curb in there, and the back end will try and rotate. Teo Porcher now going fastest there on a 42.3. We went purple through the middle sector. Again, just going to show how well the car is planted and sticking through the twisty bits up towards the line. It's almost a new fast lap of the day there, just fractionally outside of the lap time of Teo Porcher there. But as we head back down towards turn 1, oh, thought about having a look at the inside of the sun. He did lock up there in a bit of panic from the 27-year-old Israeli driver, but we can't make anything happen that time. All over the back of Roy Nissany again as we head in towards the final couple of turns there, almost into his rear diffuser, as now David Beckman sets a new fast lap of the day there, so clearly the tyres aren't going off all too much early on in this race.
Our teammate by 14.4 seconds.
14 seconds though behind our teammate, and we need this time round to make the move work on Nissany. Oh, way too deep into turn 1. He's going to get straight back underneath us. We'll hold it alongside on the exit there and squeeze him out. So somehow, yeah, with a big send, we do make that move work, but still only P18. I think, yeah, really, this is just trying to get as close to the top 10 again as we can. Ready for sprint race 2. I guess the good thing is for us at the moment, the fact that a lot of these guys that were caught up in that lap 1 commotion are all sort of still within 1 second of each other. Once we get past 1, we kind of get launched into the DRS territory of the next one. But I say that, looking at the mini-map, looks like now this train does extend towards the top 10 here. Only 6-7 laps to go of this race as we really close up to the back of Drogovic into T1. But yeah, this race is far from over still. And if there's a bit of a battle towards the front of this train, something might still be doable later on in this race there. But all over the back of the Brazilian as we head up the hill. They're really trying to open up the track width, get any sort of air over the front wing as best as we possibly can here. And yeah, again, we haven't really got anything to lose at the moment by trying to go for these aggressive moves. Oh, again though, that curb on the inside in a Formula 2 car are a lethal combination here. Can we put the power down over the back of Drogovic as we head up the little crest in towards the controversial double left-hander here, of course, where we saw Callum Ilot's championship campaign in 2020 get unstuck against Mick Schumacher. Nothing we could do that time around on Drogovic there as we went purple through Sector 1. We're always strong through Sector 2. So just try and get ever closer to the back of the UNI Virtuosi as we head up the hill. Their back end still a little bit all over the place as we really try and just take as little of a hit as we can from the dirty air there. But look at the run we've been able to get all over the back of Drogovic as we head in towards the final corner of lap 6 here. We'll force him defensive to the outside of the Brazilian there. He's going to try and park it on the apex, but not quite able to put the power down in the way he would have wanted. Their times are still improving. Richard Verschoor, 41 that time around there, as Drogovic now is really feeling the pressure back down towards Del 1 here to the outside of the young Brazilian. Oh, he's gone very, very late, almost into the back of Jack Aitken. In through T1, though, around the outside we go. And that was a good little move that took us a lap to set up I'm at a 17th. I'm looking at how close all these cars are, and there might still be a chance of points by the end of this race, but we're going to have to, again, go for really, really aggressive moves here. It's now all over the back of the HWA of Jack Aitken there. Nice double lock-up in towards the hairpin. Can we put the power down here and get a run down the back straight? Not sure we're going to be able to this time round, but yeah, just seemed like we've sort of seen a group of, what, 6 or 7 cars clean out front here. As all over the back now of Aitken, who seems to be struggling a little bit more than we watched from Drugovic is on board just one lap ago, around the outside of the HWA. No, nothing happening there. But are we going to be able to set up a nice run again like we did just one lap ago? Use all of the exit curve there. Back end of the car swiggles around wherever it can as it tries to get some grip. Final corner, not going to go for a send. Just going to try and set ourselves up on the exit there. Really get on the throttle really early. And before we even got to the DRS zone here, we're side by side with Jack Aitken. He's going to get the faint draft from Sato just in front of him.
Behind is dropping back. We're seeing a gap form.
We take a little bit of slipstream, duck back out again though as we head in towards turn 1. Don't run into the back of the Trident. And it's now P16 in this race. And I think, yeah, this battle though only extends to P11. So it wouldn't be good enough for reverse grid pole for sprint race 2. But it would certainly help us be a lot closer to the points. Sato really, really slow as we head through the hairpin, in towards the hairpin there. Oh, big, big lock-up though. And somehow that time round, we hold on to the back end there. That was full opposite lock as Sato tried to move around a bit more in the braking zone than I was a fan of. We're going to return the favour though up the inside. Sato tried to turn in on me. It's all getting very, very feisty late on in just the first sprint race of the year there. But we're now up at a 15th place. And Tictum already over a second up the road, but this one already is a bit more personal. As I think that's Jack Aitken trying to look at the inside of Sato as well. And he's pulled off the move. Oh, back down towards turn 1. We got even more battle in there. Samaya and Yuri Vips in towards the first corner. It looks like Samaya's just clean gone around the outside of the Red Bull liveried Yuri Vips car there as we head back out of turn 2. So difficult to put down the power out of that corner there. But Yuri Vips are really, really struggling early on here, getting jumped by Samaya. And now, yeah, we're looking at the back of the Carlin, who's also trying to look past Yuri if possible. I think Yuri Vips might have taken just a bit too much out of his tyres early on in this race, as we've just seen Samaya rock up to the back of him and then romp away. Perhaps he was the cork in the bottle over these last few laps that allowed the likes of Dan Tictum and this whole train of cars that we've already got through to break away there. Lawson now down to the 41s as we're still consistent in the mid-42s there. Tictum up the inside of Vips though. We're going to try and make it 3 wide as we head down towards turn 1 there. Vips just backs out. Dan Tictum tries to be late on the brakes there. We're going to match him into the braking zone, not willing to back out there, and that is a beautiful little double overtake, if I do say so myself. There 3 laps to go of this race as we're going to leave those two to duke it out behind us as Vips, yeah, it's just going backwards at the moment, but 3 to go. Samaya a second up the road there. Armstrong about 3. And I think the points, yeah, are about 6 seconds ahead. So that might be a little bit too far to believe. Oh, there we go.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
New fastest lap once we've got a little bit of clean air here as we close up to the back of Guilherme Samaya with 2 to go here in this first race of the campaign. It's certainly been a dramatic one, but we're right back up to where we started. Despite getting spun, can we still make forward progress in this sprint race? Hopefully we can. As again, we're just rolling up to the back of Samaya here as we head down through turn 4. A little bit of oversteer. Tyres still got a lot of life left in them, but certainly not what they once were. So can we go for a bit of a send in towards the hairpin here? We're going to be a little bit further back. Samaya having none of it. As Bent Viscal out of the race, what's happened to him? So that is heartbreak for Bent Viscal in the first race of the year. There looks to be a mechanical failure. So we run way too deep in towards turn 9 and turn 10 there. Have to rejoin just a little bit further back there. And now Armstrong is in the points. And that could have been us had we just been able to get that a little bit closer. We've still got a lap and a half to go though. And can we stick close to Guilherme as we head up the hill? No, don't want to hit that curb. Do not want to hit that curb. Thank you very much. Somehow, again, keeping this thing pointed in the right direction there. We've had quite a few scary moments to kickstart the year, but you don't learn how a car handles without pushing it to its limits. And if there's anything we can say today, we've certainly learned a lot about this car. In towards the final corner, about to start the last lap of this first race of the campaign. And surely now, Samaya with the Tesla logos on the back of the car.
Final lap of the race.
Back down towards turn 1 to the outside. Guilherme Samaya we go, and I don't think there's going to be much he can do. Round the outside. Late on the brakes. Calm on the brakes though as well. No lockups, no dramatics, anything like that. And we're now up into P11 here, which is arguably the worst place you can finish in an F2 race. Of course, only 8 score points in the sprints, but top 10 still get reversed for the start of the second sprint, which of course there will be a video out at some point in the very near future. But anyway, yeah, just got to ride on board through this final lap though of this race, or a little bit of understeer. Don't want to do anything stupid now. You know, we've made a lot of good progress today. On paper, it won't show it. It'll just show us making up a couple of moves there. But you guys that have stuck around throughout the entirety of this one know just how hard we've had to work, just how many moves we've had to pull off. And a bit like Oscar Piastri in real life, you know, was very, very consistent. Clearly has got the pace over a lot of his competitors there. But you've got to be calculated in Formula 2. You've got to just try and take points away here, there, and everywhere. And that's how you wrap up a title with a couple of races to go of a campaign. But in towards the final few corners of the opening sprint race of the year, it looks like our teammate Robert Schwartzman is going to survive the battles that have come from behind there in a big, big pack of cars as they head through the final corner. Our Prema teammate kickstarts his F2 2021 campaign with a dub there. Looks like there's going to be more trading for fastest laps, so we're not going to be able to take that one away. Teo Porcher finds another 10th there, so unless we do something mega out of this final corner there, it's going to be P11 at the end of the first race of the campaign. No fastest lap.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
That's a fantastic performance from Prema. It hardly looked in doubt. Tell me, Davide, what was the key to this success?
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out of everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way round.
As we look back on a thrilling race here today, we can now see the drivers take their places on the podium. It's a familiar sight by now, as it's another successful F2 win for Prema. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Robert Schwartzman takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after that excellent result. And now a look at the team standings. Prema moved to the top of the table. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Well, there we are then, guys. The end of the first sprint race of the year, and our teammate Robert Schwartzman is the man picking up the dub there. Alessio Deleda goes from 5th to 2nd in the end, jumping Teo Porcher, who finishes in at P3. A good podium for the young 17-year-old in the first race of the campaign. Germans David Beckman, and Larim Zendelli 4th and 5th ahead of Guan Yu Zhou, who of course is looking to try and make a move to Formula 1 come the end of the year there. Vasseur in 7th ahead of Enzo Fittipaldi, who made good progress from 10th on the grid. Liam Lawson 9th to 9th. In the end, they're ahead of Armstrong and myself, Oscar Piastri there. Samaya finished just ahead of 2 Brits, Dan Ticktum and Jack Aitken. And then you got Marina Sato, Felipe Drogovic, Yuri Vips, Roy Nassani, Christian Lundgaard, Jay Anderuvala, Ralph Boschung, and of course, yeah, Bent Viscal, the only man not to make it to the checkered flag there. But it does mean championship-wise, it is Robert Schwartzman on top at the moment there. Teo Porcher with his fastest lap bonus point still in P2 ahead of Alessio Deleda there. And then you can see further down the order, Enzo Fittipaldi in 6th place, of course, with those bonus points for pole position there. Exactly what he needs to kickstart his campaign as well. But yeah, lots of cars still, of course, on no points. We're down in 19th in the championship at the moment. Yeah, has not been the start that we needed. Teams-wise, though, Prema on top, 3 points ahead of ART and HWA there. MP Motorsport and Campos on 8 points apiece ahead of Charu and UNI Virtuosi there. Carlin, High-Tech, Dams and Trident, the only teams not to score in the first race of the year. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon with Sprint Race number 2. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel supporters. So a massive thank you to The Travesty, Patrick, Chwan, David, Ben, Aidan, Estacios, Cato, Sean, Johnny, McBlam, Mighty Spork, Tazief, William, and Nanon for becoming channel members. If you want to be featured at the end of all these videos, make sure you just click the join button down below.